Hey guys, my name is Antonio Innocent Mdongi, or rather you can call me AIM Agriculture Farm. I am your full-time poultry plug, and if you're new to our YouTube channel, guys, kindly hit the subscribe button, like and share as much as you can. The other good news is we got our masterclasses, because there are questions you ask and there are so many, and I felt like, why couldn't I answer these questions in detail? How you want or how you can start a successful farm, everything you need to know in terms of costing, in terms of the equipments, in terms of the structure, all that, and even the markets is taken care of on our masterclass, www.aimagriculturefarms.com. I've shared a link in the description below. Get there and enjoy. Now, again, we are here. When you look at this, what are you seeing? This is money in the making. Wow. So we are here basically to know how much profit you can make from starting 100 broiler chicken farm. In our previous episode, we really looked at how much money you will need to start 100 broiler chicken farm. Now, pay attention. The broiler farming industry is a very complicated or sophisticated business. And one has to be very careful, very smart, and pay keen attention in terms of how much you incur. It will determine how much you'll make. Let's go. Broiler farming. We spent a total of 48,550 shillings to start a broiler farm. We had feeders bought, drinkers bought, and a jiko bought. So as we do this episode, have that in mind. Let's go. If you have to sell 100 broiler birds, we have the retail price, which is 500 shillings to 550, depending on the season, depending on your location, and depending as well on demand and supply. The retail price for broiler birds is determined by the market, that is where you are, the season, that is demand and supply, and two, the timing of production, and also the type of market. What do we mean by saying season? During festive seasons or just during the back to school time, there's always a scarcity in production. Many farmers will pay attention to taking their children back to school. Therefore, we have a deficit. The demand for broiler goes high, regardless of the place. The maximum you can sell a broiler bird is 600 shillings. And therefore, the prices will be, when there's too much in production, 500 shillings, then it moves to 550, then it moves to 600 shillings. Now, there's this farmer who will decide to sell the birds on wholesale. Mostly on wholesale, you will sell your birds at 500 shillings, maximum 550. And you can sell the birds as low as 450 shillings on wholesale. The other factors also determine, that is demand and supply. There are some places that, a couple of places in Kenya, that even people don't know broilers. There are places that when you take the broiler birds or the broiler meat, people will be shocked and like, what is this? Mostly in the rural setup. So don't expect to set up a broiler farm or start your 100 broiler bird farm in the rural places and then expect to make it overnight. You are bringing a product to people that they don't know, especially in my place, Kitale. In the village, people don't know much about broiler birds. So if you tell someone, buy this bird, They're like, this bird is tasteless. So your market will determine how much you'll make. Now, if you're a farmer selling your bird at 600 shillings, it means that if we had no mortalities at all, by the time we're taking our birds to the market, ceteris paribus, all factors held constant, we have 100 broilers. We are going to make 60,000 shillings. That is not profit. There's this farmer who will take the birds to the market when the demand and supply is almost optimum and sell the birds at 550 shillings. We are going to make 55,000 shillings. That is sales. Worst case scenario, this farmer sells the birds at 500 shillings, so this farmer is going to make 50,000 shillings. So we've got farmer A, 60,000, farmer B, 55,000, and then farmer C, 50,000 bob. That is on retail, not that somewhere. Let's go to farmer B, or let's go to the second cluster of farmers who want now to sell their birds on wholesale. Simple. If he sells the birds at 550 shillings wholesale, that will be 55,000 shillings. If he sells the birds at 450 shillings, he's going to make 45,000, and that's the worst case scenario. So let's just give it 50,000 shillings because they sold the birds at 500 shillings. Have these farmers made a profit? Let's start with the first phase of farmers. Retail. The farmer A who sold the birds at 60,000 shillings. Because the cost of production, like we spoke in the other episode, was 48,550 shillings, and the farmer has sold, let's just even give it 49,000 shillings because of miscellaneous costs, and the farmer has sold the birds at 60,000, it simply means that you're going to make a profit of 11,000 shillings. 11,000 shillings. And you have 100 birds. How much profit is that? The farmer would have made 110 shillings per bird. 110 shillings per bird. The second farmer sold the birds at 55,000 shillings, and the cost of starting was 49,000 shillings. This farmer would have made 4,000 shillings. Now, selling the birds at 55,000 shillings and cost of production is 49,000 shillings. No, it's not 4,000 shillings. This farmer would have made 6,000 shillings profit. 6,000 and the birds are 100. It means that you're making a profit of 60 shillings per bird. The last farmer who sold the birds at 50,000 shillings and incurred a cost of production of 49,000 shillings. This farmer made 100 shillings. 100 divided by 100, 1,000 divided by 100 is 10 bob. 10 bob. So you are working on a very thin thread. And if you don't balance well, you're likely to fall off. I've been telling most farmers, the profit you can make in a broiler business per bird is between 5 shillings and 20 shillings. At the most is 20 shillings. The least is 5 shillings. And you are easily likely to go back and make a loss. So broiler farming requires a lot of experience. As much as it takes a short time, within 6 weeks, you'd have made your money. But the beauty about it is, as you proceed, remember, the highest profit-making farmer is making 100 shillings and 10. But that is the highest, like the highest. It's very rare. So mostly farmers will make 60 shillings, which is now the average. As you proceed, you make more profit. Why? You will deduct the cost of the brooding jiko and the cost of the feeders, which in the previous episode we said the cost of the feeders and the drinkers is 4,800 shillings and the cost of the brooding jiko is 3,000 shillings. So that will become to 7,800 shillings. So this one added to your profit, you'll find that you are moving from 60 shillings to about 80 shillings per bird. And my loyal follower and my best subscriber, listen. We are talking of these profits if at all we don't have a mortality. If at all we don't have a mortality. We are talking of these profits assuming that our birds will take the 6 weeks without getting unwell. That is possible when you pay attention to biosecurity and proper vaccination. Because these birds also have to be eaten within a period of 6 weeks. And therefore, much attention has to be paid on the medication that is going to be given to these birds because of the withdrawal periods. Is this venture profitable? Yes, it is. When you get our masterclasses and get the tips, real-time tips, there are those tips that will not give you here because nobody will pay you to give them that. But on the masterclass, because you're a student, we take you through, we call them baby steps. We give you the baby steps. Go this way, go that way, spend this way, spend that way, on this, on that, until you make it. This time round, if you don't make it, then I don't know how you'll make it. Who loves you more than AIM Agriculture Farm? Bye-bye.